Tonight, I want to talk about something which many people are terrified of. Even speaking of it sends shivers down their spines.
What's that?
Tonight, I'm going to tell you what dying feels like. Oh, here goes another scary night.
We're ready. Go.
Well, in reality, there are 1,000 ways to die. Dying in a car crash, in fire, by drowning, or even falling off a building, and so many other causes. But tonight, I'm going to be focusing on dying of old age. Oh, that's better. So you won't scare us much tonight after all. We'll see. I've been studying it for quite some time. What does it feel like when you die of old age? I mean, the actual phases.
And what did you come up with?
Well, usually it begins with a disease that devours your whole body. Or it's just because you're very old, your body can no longer sustain. The actual process of nearing death is quite similar for everyone. I personally have come to grips with it as I've lost many loved ones over the years.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I spent a week with my father as he was dying in hospital. I was pretty much there all the time, saw all the stages, and ever since that, I've been fascinated by this phenomenon. Now, what I'm about to tell you is the signs that indicate a person's going to die a natural death. The first sign is losing appetite. Then comes fatigue, which means tiredness and just sleeping a lot, as if the body is gradually preparing itself to shut down, so it no longer craves food to provide energy. Basically, the body has no longer the energy to do anything, so the individual only sleeps. Well, that's the obvious stage. But the next one gets quite scary.
Most of you guys who are watching our videos haven't subscribed to us yet. Well, that's just too bad. So please, if you like our videos and would really like to support our channel, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll get notified every time there's a new video uploaded. Oh, and don't forget to give us a like. If you decide you don't like the video, well, you can always come back and change that. Thank you, and please enjoy the rest of the video.
But the next one gets quite scary. How come? Delirium. So much that you wouldn't be able to tell time and place. These are basically tricks your body pulls off to gradually shut itself down. When my father was dying, I was beside him. He went on raving, said things that didn't make any sense. He said he could see my mother, who had died a few years back. He was actually talking to her.
My God.
This happens to all who are slowly dying. And you know what's the scary part? They actually say they're going on a trip. For instance, my father said, "I've got to take my bags, my stuff. I've got to go."
Good God. They're literally passing on. It's like they're planning to go on a journey to death.
Looks like it. The next stage is the Death Rattle. Now, what's that? Well, if you haven't heard of it, I should tell you it's really unsettling. When someone's about to die, breathing becomes a challenge and turns into a horrific sound. This is when they're truly nearing death. I remember when my father was dying, he made those sounds. I asked a friend of him who was there, "What is that?" He said, "That's the Death Rattle. Essentially, it's the sound of you struggling before death. The dying person has no energy left, can't get out of bed or get some sleep or even talk to anyone. And then something very odd happens. Even the doctors don't know what to say about it." "Oh, goodness gracious, what?" "The next stage of death, the final energy burst. Right before someone's dying, they get an abnormally high burst of energy. They get up, talk to you normally, look at you normally, and they don't even know why they're in the hospital. They may tell you they're all fine. They eat a full meal, or sometimes even don't know how long they haven't had anything to eat. Then they say, 'We should be heading home. Get me out of here, quick. I'm all right.' That's when family members usually get their hopes up. They get all excited. I remember being in tears of joy. I told myself, 'Oh God, my dad's not going to die, he's back.' But right after the doctor came and said to me that it's a bad sign, because when people are about to die, they usually get an unusual surge of energy, and that's really fascinating. Many believe that it's God or life's giving you the chance to eat your last meal alongside your loved ones, to spend time with them before passing away and say your last goodbyes."
That's equally amazing and disturbing.
That's right. Honestly, I didn't want to accept this was happening. I said to myself, "No, he's doing really good. We should get him out of here." But the next morning, he was doing terrible. He was approaching the next stage, which is the dead stare. The next day, as I entered my father's room, he was lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling. His eyes had gone glassy white. I think he didn't blink for about an hour. His friend, who'd come in along with me, walked me through the stages of death once again. When he saw that, he told me, "That's the death stare. And this happens when blood stops circulating in the body and your skin turns cold, purple and blue. The dying individual would just stare up at nothing and not say a word." I remember my father not speaking that whole day, and the next day, he died. He reached the final step, which is death. After you draw your final breath and die, all your muscles will relax. And that's actually terrifying, because not only does the entire body loosen up, but so will facial muscles, which means your jaw opens and drops so low that it looks as if you were screaming before death.
Good God. I always pictured dying naturally of old age to be a lot prettier.
Same here. But wait for what happens next. Those dying naturally all have similar symptoms. When the body entirely shuts off, they see a bright light that they want to go towards. And some claim they see angels. They may also see their loved ones from their past. When you're watching someone die beside you, they say they're going to heaven. My father raised his hands and said, I'm seeing a light," and then drew the last breath and died. At that moment, they could once again believe in God. Watching that scene is truly mesmerizing. but others say that's just a sign of death, and it makes perfect sense. When the brain is shutting down, it starts acting out all sorts of crazy ways. Think of it as short-circuiting, causing a bright light to flash before their eyes, making the dying person believe they're seeing a heavenly aura. It all could be our mind playing tricks on us.
Or could be something else. Maybe seeing that light means they're stepping into the next stage of life.
That's possible, but scientists say that can only be the brain's final attempt to stay alive. But what do you personally think about that? Well, I definitely think that scientists aren't always right.